Good morning. We are apparently on CPT. So, bear with. It's okay. It's going to be fine. Thank you all for coming. This is lovely to see all the smiling faces, the familiar faces, to see family, to see professors, to see just community and be surrounded by love. This is, to me, what is possible when we all come together with a shared vision and a commitment to each other. So we're about to get started. Please take out your papers. Actually, before we get into that, please turn to your neighbor and say, "I love you." Turn to your neighbor and say, "Boy, it's been a couple of rough weeks." Turn to your neighbor and say, "Child, I don't know how we're gonna get through this, but as long as I got you, we're gonna be okay." Yeah, because we need joy to get through the pain. So, here we go. This first piece is an adaptation of Ella Baker. So I'm gonna teach it to y'all, and we're gonna sing it together. Give light, and people find the way. Give light, and people find the way. Give light, and people find the way. Sing along. Give light, and people find the way. Yes. Give light. Give light, and people find the way. Louder for me. Give light. Yes. For the heavens, one more time. And people find the way. Next part goes like this. We fight for freedom every day. Dedication is the way. We make the struggle every day. Dedication is the way. Sing, we fight. We fight for freedom every day. Dedication is the way we make the struggle every day. Dedication. Give light. Give light. And people find the way. Give light. Give light. And people fill this place with love. At the top of your lungs, sing, give light. I like the harmonies, keep going, give light. One more time for the ancestors, give light, and people find the way. We fight for freedom, we fight for freedom, we fight. Dedication is the way we make the struggle every day. Dedication, we fight. We fight for freedom every day. Dedication, give light. I think y'all can do it a cappella. Give light. Make some noise one time. That last piece was based off of a speech by Ella Baker. This next one is an adaptation of a quote from Fidel Castro. A revolution is not a bed of roses. A revolution breaks chains and exposes. It's a struggle between our future and our past. The time has come for us to stand at last. It's coming. It's coming, yeah. A revolution is coming, yeah. revolution is not a bed of roses. A revolution breaks chains and exposes. It's a struggle between our future and our past. The time has come for us to stand and last. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Revolution is coming. Yeah. Sing. Revolution is not a bed of roses. Louder. A revolution breaks chains and exposes. It's a struggle. Yeah. The time has come for us to stand at last. Sing, it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. A revolution is coming. Sing, it's coming. Coming. It's coming. A revolution is coming. A revolution is not a bed of. That's right. Revolution breaks chains and exposes. It's a struggle between our future and the past. The time has come for us to stand at last. And with that, we're going to move to our next portion, a liturgy by the co-chair of the Black Caucus, the brilliant, the beautiful Carla.
Hi, everyone. I'm a lot shorter than Steff. Okay. A Collective Imagination, a reading from Let This Radicalize You by Miriam Kaba. Then, in addition to building relationships that foster collective power, interdependence, and care, we must educate people about alternative interventions that actually address the needs of people affected by violence, poverty, and climate collapse. We must also continue to create our own works of visual art, fiction, and poetry that drive people to envision cooperation and mutual aid as our primary response to crises. And we must help people imagine a world in which we can rely on one another. As author and organizer Shane Burley told us, solving a problem collectively takes a great deal of faith in others. We have been trained to see our survival in opposition to the community, something we do by putting ourselves and our families first. So it is a big leap to start trusting that collective liberation will actually care for us. The mutual aid efforts of groups like the Auntie Sewing Squad and Woodland Women can help build that net, Burley says. To have faith that a liberatory approach is their best option, some people want to see evidence that we have helped one another survive and that we can do it again. That's what building up projects of solidarity and mutual aid does. It creates a belief in what is possible so that when even larger crises form, we have shown that by fighting the oppression of another, we really do have the ability to target our own oppression as well, Burley told us. In order to invest in a new vision, a new way of living, we have to believe in each other and our capacity to create something better. Our belief in human potential must outweigh our fear of human failure. Our imaginations must be courageous.
Make some noise for Carla. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I said make some noise. Okay? So, in the spirit of radical imagination and freedom dreaming, I'm going to subvert the dominant paradigm, as Dr. Irene Prasanna Kumar always says. So, Sharon, can I have your help? We're going to pass out collection plates. And we're going to radically imagine what this could be. So we're going to pass out crayons and pens and sticky notes. And I want you to write an affirmation that you're going to give to somebody else, something that speaks so truly and so deeply to your current material conditions and your experience, something that would be reassuring that you need to hear, that God willing, when the person who picks up this piece of paper, when they read this, it'll transform their day. So it could be a word or it could be a phrase, something nice, succinct. And then once everybody has a paper and something to write with, Sharon, please pass around the next would be the collection plate. if you're done, please put your note in the collection plate. Can I get a volunteer from the congregation to pass the plate around? My auntie, Marie Louise. Give it up for Marie Louise. Daughter of the great Ewart Grenier. Sister of the great Lonnie Grenier. Come on, Marie Louise. Yeah, that, come. Pass it out to the people, or pass around the bowl and let people pick. Gotta leave some sense of agency. Take what you need. We already have enough. What we need is already within us. What we need is all around us. There's an abundance of resources, abundance of land, abundance of food, abundance of shelter, abundance of love. And as we transition into the next liturgy, I want you to sit with your affirmation and just process, where does it sit with you? Where do you feel it? How does it resonate to your current situation? And now, I'm going to call up the brilliant, the beautiful, the inspiring, the authentic Alicia Madkins.
Short, a little taller. All right, can you guys hear me? Okay. Imagine bigger. Revolution isn't linear. On imagination. This book is about the dreams of freedom. It is merely a brief, idiosyncratic outline of a history of Black radical imagination in the 20th century. I don't pretend to have written anything approaching a movement history or intellectual history. And I am not interested in explaining why these dreams of revolution have not succeeded yet. Rather, I simply want to explore the different ways self-proclaimed renegades imagine life after the revolution and where their ideas came from. Although Freedom Dreams is no memoir, it is a very personal book. It is loosely organized around my own political journey, around the dreams I once shared or still share, from the dreams of an African utopia to the surreal world of our imagination, from the communist and feminist dreams of abolishing all forms of exploitation, to the 400-year-old dream of payback for slavery and Jim Crow. My purpose in writing this book is simply to reopen a very old conversation about what kind of world we want to struggle for. I'm not the only one interested in the working of dreaming. Obviously, there are many activists and thinkers having this conversation right now, ranging from my sister Makana Thelba Nixon, Cornel West, Leanne and Eric Mann, to Cleveland's Norma Jean Freeman and Dawn Freeman, Newark's Amina and Amira Baraka. and Detroit's Gracie Lee Boggs, to name but a few. For decades, these and other folks have dared to talk openly of revolution and dream of a new society, sometimes creating cultural works that enable communities to envision what's possible with collective action, personal transformation, and will. Freedom Dreams, The Black Radical Imagination by Robin D.G. Kelley.
Give it up for Alicia Madkins. I'm going to ask for grace and space and compassion as I try to deliver this word in my first chapel sermon. So, give it up for me. All right, here we go. Legendary labor organizer Fred Ross said, "An organizer is a social arsonist who goes around lighting people on fire." Right now, the world is quite literally on fire. LA is burning. We are witnessing a genocide in Palestine, Congo, and Sudan. We are in the throes of inflation, and a neo-fascist is in the White House. I am here today not to give you answers. I am here today not to give you an easy word or a quick fix. I come here today to agitate. I come here today to radicalize you. Because I believe that the solution can be found through collective action, through organizing. John the Baptist once said, "Repent, the end is near." I'm going to add an addendum to that and say, organize. The end is near. The weekend before the presidential inauguration, I was in Washington, D.C. for the People's March. This protest was organized by several individual movements working in coalition. I was invited by the Dream Defenders to sing protest songs, including classic labor anthem, Solidarity Forever, as part of their People's Choir. One of the things that was most powerful about this moment was that it was made possible because of our collective power, which was rooted in a shared vision. A shared vision that included people from different political ideologies, race, class, gender, and cultural backgrounds, who came together with the shared vision to resist fascism while standing in solidarity for collective liberation for all. My question for us today is, how do we replicate large-scale solidarity and collective action within our community at Union Theological Seminary and abroad? Today, I want to talk to you about vision. My friend Jordan often talks about the day after the revolution. You know, when we pass the aux cord, what's the playlist going to be? And how we must prepare for that moment right now. What does it sound like? What does it look like? Maybe most importantly, what does it feel like? Dream Defenders offers a glimpse of what could be in their freedom papers. I would like to highlight a few of them today. One, freedom to be. Each of us is bursting with life, brimming with magic, creativity, and uniqueness. We are not commodities to be picked and sold to the highest bidder. We are not boxes or binaries. The freedom to be is about living a life beyond survival and coping. A life focused on fulfilling our wildest dreams and our most creative pursuits rather than competing against one another for crumbs. 2, freedom from police and prisons. The police don't serve us. They never have, they never will. It was never their job. 3, freedom of mind. Education is a liberator. Our educational system should be places where curiosity, creativity, and critical thinking are encouraged to flourish. 4, freedom of movement. To move is human. To move is freedom. There is enough land and water on this planet for every person and their family to live in safety and dignity. And we all deserve access to it, whether we are or wherever we are going. 5, freedom from war and violence. We are better than war. Every year, millions of our children are slaughtered in faraway lands for our country, for our freedoms. Millions more come home to a broken country with broken minds and broken bodies. Wars happen when the wealthy determine it, and we're always the ones destroyed by them. We're told that war is natural, that it's simply human nature. War is about money, power, and land. We are the ones paying for these wars in our blood and in our billions from our labor, extracted by the ruling class. The violence devastates us all and normalizes the notion that violence between us is common and required. 6, freedom from environmental and ecological destruction. The climate disaster is a direct result of Western civilization and its insatiable greed. Billionaires are trashing this planet and betting on moving to Mars. Fossil fuel executives, the corporate class, and the military-industrial complex gaslight us about its severity, all while severe weather shifts are actively killing people around the world and causing populations to be displaced and nations to starve. All while Black and brown, poor, and working-class people are impacted the most. 7, freedom from poverty. In this country, we exist to work, and our work makes them richer, while we get pennies for giving them our lives. When we get sick, we pay the hospitals and insurance companies thousands. They raise our rent. We line their pockets of the developers. We pay for water and light and give our coins to people who never think about losing their power. But it doesn't have to be that way. We can have good lives now. We can have abundance now. No more generations need to be born to struggle, to make do. We can break generational curses. We have to do it together. We, in moments with unions, in organizations that want to break this cycle of gross inequality. So, the question is, In the face of white supremacy, patriarchy, and settler colonialism that make up this late-stage capitalist dystopian nightmare that we're currently dealing with, what is the role of art and culture in speaking truth to power? What role do art and culture have in combating what womanist theologian Emily Towns refers to as the fantastic hegemonic imagination? I'm wrestling with the following questions. How can I use my gift to lift up a message of hope in times of despair? How does my creativity and my vision involve the community and combat catastrophe? I wrestle with these questions because I'm an artist. All forms of expression are an integral part of my life, my organizing and my scholarship. It is significant to note that not only does art and culture have the power to transform hearts and minds, but through the arts, we have the power and the capacity to imagine a new future. We need to use our art and our gifts to paint pictures of what things could be, because it doesn't have to be this way. Audre Lorde reminds us that is the work of the poet within each of us, which is to envision what has not yet been and to work within every fiber of who we are to make the reality pursuit of those visions irresistible. Additionally, organizer and abolitionist Mariame Kaba provides brilliant insights into this project. Kaba urges, when we are no longer ruled by a manufactured fear of one another, we experience a form of liberation. It is not a total liberation, as the structures that oppress us are, for now, very much intact. But we experience a kind of unshackling that allows us to begin the process of dismantling individualism, a violent ideology that has siloed us and stifled our collective potential. When we challenge our anxieties about other people and begin to see unlikely points of connection as points of potential stability and strength, we become more powerful. Unraveling our fear of one another is a multi-layered, multicultural project. In addition to building relationships that foster collective power, interdependence, and care, we must educate people about alternative interventions that actually address the needs of the people affected by violence, affected by poverty, and climate collapse. We must also continue to create our own works of visual art, fiction, and poetry that drive people to envision cooperation and mutual aid as our primary response to crisis. And we must help people imagine a world in which we can rely on one another. So, in the spirit of Mariame Kaba, Audre Lorde, Robin D.G. Kelley, and the Black radical imagination, I'm challenging you. I'm urging you today to author a new dream, to sing a new song, to paint a new picture that portrays a new vision for our shared and collective future. The only way out of this abysmal moment is through, and I'm challenging each and every one of us to just confront the catastrophic by living a life that is rooted in our diasporic ancestral values of truth, justice, and love. It was music that sustained us, Black people, as we waded in the water, as we ran for our freedom and ran from captivity. Be it Jim and Jane Crow, chattel slavery, police brutality, or current day labor exploitation at the workplace. It was the spirituals. It was gospel. It was the blues that sustained us. Music was and is the technology that we called upon. The technology that we use to disseminate messages of how to fight. The vision of what we are fighting for, who the enemy is, and how to remain resilient, or where to go. It was the spiritual, ancestral, transcendent connection to the divine that sustained our hope. Our creativity painted a picture of what not had yet been, but what could be. It's the works of Nina Simone, Marvin Gaye, and Aretha Franklin that motivated Ella Baker, Fannie Lou Hamer, and Martin Luther King, and continues to inspire generations today. Culture has a way of taking the intangible and making it tangible. As artists, we have the power to illustrate the divine, to illustrate liberation, because God is love. God is liberation. If we can materialize that God energy, that divine power, into our collective fight for collective liberation, we are walking into our God power. This power has the capacity to mobilize us and radicalize us. The time is now to organize because, quite frankly, our lives depend on it. What does it look like to move forward and live into the dream where everybody's needs are met and we heed the call of Karl Marx, who said, to each according to their need and from each according to their ability. Let's live into that future now. Let's model that future right now. If our political imagination is limited to recreating structures, hierarchies, and cycles that just mirror the ones we're trying to get free from, then our political imagination needs vision. This moral imperative is echoed in the prophetic words of Slavoj Žižek, who said, "It is easier to imagine the end of capitalism than to imagine the end of the world." Or should I say, it is easier to imagine the end of the world than to imagine the end of capitalism. My friends, I'm not going to stand here and tell you that it's going to be easy. But once we sit with these questions, we are paving the way forward towards a collective vision for collective liberation. The sobering truth is that it's going to be uncomfortable. I'm not going to tell you and sit here and say that we're going to figure it out overnight. In fact, it might take years. It might even take decades. So here we are. The ball is in our court. The baton has been passed to us. It's incumbent upon us to do something. In 100 years, we will all be dead and gone. The question is, what are you doing while you're still here? Who are your people in this moment? Right now. And which side are you on? This time calls for radical imagination. This time calls for passion. This time calls for collective action. Subverting the dominant paradigm requires moral courage. It requires resilience. It requires vision. And most importantly, it requires love. My friends, I will leave you with these words from Black radical organizer and activist Assata Shakur. It is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to win. We have nothing to lose but our chains. Thank you. I want to take a moment to thank some folks. I want to thank Sharon for helping me to set up. Sharon from the Cairo Center, Poor People's Campaign. All these is lovely art from art builds we've been doing. Because culture is an important front of struggle. Thank you to Jordan for helping me to proofread and edit and just sit and be a thought partner. Thank you to Irene for helping me go through my sermon. Thank you to Sokiro Song and the Writing Center. Thank you to, oh my God, the whole chapel squad for helping me do this. Thank you all for showing up. It means the world to me, and I hope that you are inspired and move through the world with grace, space, passion, and vision. Peace.